What's up, good people? Welcome to another episode of Talk of the Shore. My name is Ralan, Wardlaw.
And I'm Langston, Frazier. Yo, we're back another week, another episod. What's up, man?
Man, what's up? This has been an eventful week since the last time we talked. And we'll get into some of that. But first of all, as always, if you didn't see last week's episode, go check out last week's episode with Nasia Goodman, pitcher from the softball team. It was a good episode, an inspiring chef. So she talked about a lot. So good to see a good student athlete here at the Shore doing some big things. But before we get into everything else, you know how it starts off.
Yo.
You know how we start off.
I got an HBCU fact of the day, and of course I got a good one, because I always have a good one. All right, here's your fact of the day. How many different states have an HBCU? Do you know?
Probably I would say at least 15. Because, down south and the East Coast, so I'd say at least 15.
Okay, close. Mm-hmm. 19. 19 states have at least one HBCU. Hopefully the 51st state, Washington, D.C., has one as well. And the U.S. Virgin Islands has one as well. So 19 different states have at least one HBCU. Obviously, if you don't know, there's 107 HBCUs. Yeah.
Spread over those 19.
Find the one closest to you and help it out.
Absolutely. And I mean, they go all the way out to, I know St. Louis, Missouri. There's some in Oklahoma. So, I mean, we don't all the way on the West Coast, but Midwest has some HBCUs.
Has a couple.
Ohio has some. Kentucky. So, those, that's a little bit. Good fact. But we was kind of talking. I figured I'd say this before we get into the full show.
Right.
Like I said last week, vaccine shot number 2 is done. I have a button on. I got my COVID-19 vaccination. Got it on Monday.
Right.
And no real side effects. Some of my coworkers didn't do well, but I did fine. So I felt, a little bit survivor's remorse, I guess you could say, because I said I felt fine after the vaccine shot. And also congratulations to Baylor. They won the national championship, which I predicted. I've been telling y'all the last few shows, Baylor Bears going to win the national championship.
Right. And they were shut down to the COVID too, in February.
Yeah, they were shut down, came back, lost a couple games. If not, they may have been undefeated too because they looked good. And
really
so I have not picked a correct national champion in a while. I had a lot of bad picks early as far as, upsets and then picking the wrong upsets, but I stayed true to the Baylor Bears, and they did not let me down. So shout out to them and everybody in Waco.
Right. Well, speaking on the COVID-19 kind of train, got an email today about noon. Heard that Somerset County Health Department was going to be out here giving some vaccines. Mm-hmm. Just, on the way over here, I was like, let me see if I can go get my COVID vaccination. Got in line. They had 10 vaccines. I was number 4 in line. So I got my first vaccine today at 1:15 this afternoon, which is Thursday. This will be out on Friday. So I am 1 day in. Hopefully no side effects. I get my next one.
The first one's usually... a little bit of sore arm, but nothing major.
I won't feel it today. I'll probably feel it midnight, 2 a.m. And
I say if you want to.
Of course, I got a long night. I got to study tonight, so.
I would say the only thing I would say is, maybe take a Tylenol, ibuprofen or something. Right. But other than that, you'll be fine.
Yeah, so I feel good right now. I feel like I ate. I had lunch. I feel good right now. So I get my next one in 28 days, which will be the 7th of May. Well, 29 days because I'll be traveling the day before, but 28 days, 29 days, the 7th of May, the day before my 24th birthday. So that's my birthday gift to myself. Get vaccination number 2.
Happy birthday early. What's it, Taurus?
Yeah.
It's Taurus? Okay.
I'm a car, technically.
That's what Taurus is?
Got him. I
was like, yeah.
Gotcha. That was good.
All right, so
anyway,
we're gonna go into our guest, and so this. I don't even think he knows he's a special guest.
A very special guest.
He's actually the first guest we've had that is not directly tied to the Maryland Eastern Shore Athletic Department,
which is technically the whole point of the podcast, but we just haven't been able to follow through on it yet. So we're making history, folks.
Making history. This is our first person that's not directly related. And also, when we talking about Baylor, how they won a championship, and me and this person, we were on the road to a championship. We were on the road to an intramural championship a year ago. We could not be stopped. Everybody loved us. We was the old guys, and we was out there getting buckets.
I love it.
You know what I'm saying?
I love it.
We were. Nobody was out rebounding us. Nobody could be more physical because we had old man strength. You know what I'm saying? So to my right, I guess Akanni Salako.
What's
you know
up,
what I'm saying?
Everybody?
What's up?
Going? Appreciate y'all having
How you
me,
doing?
fellas.
How you doing? So Akanni is here on the shore. He is about to be doctor.
About to be
Salako.
doctor.
Here in a few months. Out of the PT program, which is also what Evan Slaughter's in, who was a guest before. So we'll get into all that. But as we always start off, Akanni, where are you from?
I'm from PG County, Maryland.
PG County, Maryland. What
The
city?
glorious.
The gorgeous.
Prince George's
the gorgeous
County,
Prince
Maryland,
George's
folks. Put some
County.
respect on it.
Put some respect on it. PG County, the richest black
County
area
in the nation.
Yeah.
All of that.
We heard it. What city in PG?
So I'm Bowie. I'm from
Bowie,
Bowie.
Maryland. Bowie,
Ah,
Maryland.
I like that city.
The
So
suburbs.
So if you have to explain Bowie in 3 words, how would you do it? Now, we've heard Bowie explained by other people before. So just for you, how would you say Bowie in 3 words? No pressure.
The Bowie I knew.
That's what I'm saying. The Bowie you know.
Bowie
The
I
Bowie
knew.
you
The
know.
Bowie that's now is a little different, but the Bowie I knew, educated, bougie, a little ratchet.
Yes. I'm here. See, back in college, we came
What?
with a word called classy, classy and ratchet.
Yeah.
Instead of clatchet, classy, because it gave us even more bougie. To
I'm
it. 'Cause
just shocked he called it bougie.
It
But
is.
then it came with the ratchet right behind
Ratchet.
it. Why? You gotta
I
tell us
want to
why.
hear.
Why?
I want to hear
That's-
you explain
That's
that.
kind
So
of
I'm
confusing because
interested.
it's everyone in Bowie. Most of the people that live in Bowie, those were the big houses. You got Fairwood and all that. So it's the people who parents raised them well. They got
Right.
money,
I know
but they
exactly
wanna,
where you talking about.
but they want to be ratchet. They want to live a lifestyle that they not really living. So
Right.
you get the extra ratchetness because they trying to put on a persona they don't
Right,
really
that
got
they
to.
don't have or
Yeah,
they don't
so
need.
that's what it is.
Get that.
No shade, but
No
you
shade.
know, if they in Bowie, and trying to be ratchet, tell them go to Seat Pleasant with that.
Right. Bowie is not ratchet. They think they want to, but they're not.
And those are the most
So
dangerous
let me
ones.
just take a guess. You went to Bowie High School.
Yeah.
The greatest high school in Prince George's County.
Something.
Eleanor Roosevelt can sit somewhere else. But
Agreed.
Bowie High School, home of the Bulldogs.
Home of the
Class of
Bulldogs.
15. You already know.
Yeah, Bowie High School.
2011.
Two Bowie High School grads right here.
Yeah, man.
2011, though, that's a good
2011.
time.
Came in when I can't leave, was leaving, I was coming in.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
2011.
Look,
I'm a little
listen,
old.
I understand. I like, Bowie High School. Got 2 Bowie High grads here, so I'm not gonna show them disrespect. You know what I mean? Plus, I like Bowie. I've actually been in Bowie. Bowie's nice. You know what I mean?
Grow up, make you want to live there.
Yeah, it's
Have a
like-
family, raise your kids.
It's just so much. It's so many places to live in PG County, though. Like that's the thing.
But Bowie's got like
Yeah.
everything. We got a baseball stadium. We got 2 Chick-fil-A's. We got the Harris Theater, the
He really
Giant.
loved
We got
Bowie.
everything.
you really love Bowie.
We got a movie theater. We got a whole town set. We got everything. In our own fire department. In our own police
Nah, there's a
department.
lot
We got
of
everything.
Bowie. It's a lot.
I've heard good. I've heard good things about Bowie.
Ah, exactly.
That's what's up. But so also, I mean, this is Talk of the Shore, and you actually started on the shore right after Bowie,
Yeah.
for lack of a better term, going to Chesapeake College, playing basketball there, and then kind of transitioning over to playing at Virginia Union, another HBCU. So Connie's already an HBCU
Right.
grad, about
Shout
to be
out to the Panthers.
HBCU grad times 2. So kind of tell us, what kind of led you to Maryland Eastern Shore, and what was kind of your journey to get here?
So after I graduated Virginia Union, I didn't know what I wanted to do because I pledged Kappa Alpha Psi, yo to the good men. But I pledged, he
You
was
gonna
the
start a
wrong
war in
side
here.
of
I can't help
1911.
you.
But yeah, so I pledged my senior year. Not gonna get into all the logistics of that, but yeah, I pledged my senior year, and by the time we got offline, it's like a month left in class, and I'm like, okay, what am I about to do with my life? I knew I wanted to be a physical therapist, but I wasn't planning for it. I had to take the GRE, all that stuff.
Right.
So I graduated, had to take a year off to take the classes that I needed to take the GRE. Then I started applying to a bunch of places. I applied to Maryland, Eastern Shore. One is the cheapest out of all of them, for real. And it helps that it's in-state. I applied to Baltimore. I applied to some place in Philly, I think Thomas Jefferson. And then Eastern Shore called me, and it was like, come for an interview. Came for an interview. And it was ironic because I was in a boot on the interview. I was on crutches because I had to get an ankle surgery from hooping. And then they put me in a wheelchair. They took care of me, and I was like, okay, I kind of like these people. They took care of me, put me in a wheelchair, wheeling me around during the interview, so it was cool. And then you do the interview. Interview was good. They have you write an essay, all that. It was cool. And then I didn't know I got accepted until like the day before the deadline to tell them you got it, like you coming. Because the mail, my mother was taking the mail out. You know how mothers are. They take the mail.
Sort the mail.
They open your mail. Yeah, they open your mail. Don't tell you got mail. So I'm randomly at the table looking through mail. I'm like, oh, I got to accept this letter. I just thought, so I was like, of course I want to go there. It was good. One is the cheapest, and they kind of made me feel accepted before I even, got accepted. So I was like, I got to go to UMES.
Would you think that's one of the things that kind of attracted you to the school in general because of how they treated you on your interview and, kind of being close to home for lack of, you had already kind of been on the shore, even though Chesapeake is not exactly, it's like an hour or so from here.
And let's put this out there. Chesapeake College, if you come to Maryland Eastern Shore, it's the first college you pass on your right-hand side when you're coming down here. No one realizes that because they pass by it, they go right through that light, and they never see it. And we're Chesapeake College, it's right there.
It's like a big, I forget what I think it's like a windmill. You pass that every time you pass that, you pass the Chesapeake. Essentially,
just to give people some context.
So would you say like all that like kind of hospitality that you got and everything like that is kind of what attracted you to come here? Overall,
the hospitality was great, and it's a good program. It doesn't hurt that it's a good program. 100% passing rate on all the exams. So, I mean,
there you go.
All positives.
Absolutely. So, also, like, I guess, with your hooping and how that went, what was, how did you get into basketball to start with? Because, I mean, that kind of is what you were doing at first, and then you kind of had to really get away from that because of an injury late in your college career. So,
I got into hooping because I was like, I want to say I was 5'11" when I was 12. But I didn't like, I probably grew 3. I'm 6'2" now, so I didn't grow much. Yeah, I didn't grow much after that. So 5'11" when you're 12 years old, you got no choice but to play basketball. So I got into basketball at that age, but it kind of hurt me being that tall because they stuck me at the big man, and I didn't grow, so I had to learn to be a guard late in the game.
Right.
But, I did my thing. I did well at Chesapeake, got to Virginia Union, did well at Virginia Union. And then my senior year, rolled my ankle, and at that point, I'm like, I got 2 options. I could keep trying to hoop, or I could figure out another route. I always knew I wanted to be a physical therapist.
Right.
I was either going to hoop, get the money, and open up a place for physical therapists to do their thing and just be the owner, or become a physical therapist myself.
Right, so it just essentially happened sooner.
Yeah, so I was forced to go the other route. I had to get 3 ankle surgeries. I had all 3 of them while I was at UMES, for real. So, I mean, after that, so now it's just physical therapy is kind of...
It's really life at this point.
Yeah,
right.
It's really life.
I've been a patient for 3 years, so now if I don't know it, I don't know who else going to know it as much as me.
That's what's up.
Very, very cool. So you talk about your basketball experience. You played in 40 games while you're at Virginia Union. I'm sorry, 34 games at Virginia Union. 40 field goals made while you were there. 25 three-pointers up in there too. 44 rebounds and 10 steals. So that's pretty solid for a two-year run, I would say.
Yeah, I could have did more, but my last season I was a walk-on because I got a scholarship my first year, sat out my second year because, once you transfer, all your credits don't transfer, you can't graduate. The whole thing that comes with that. So I had to sit out, and I was a walk-on my last year. Y'all know how they treat walk-ons. So you really get no love for it. So all the cachet I may have built up, I was starting from scratch. We had 3 coaches in 3 years. So and I played, so I missed the first coach, and then I don't have no stats. So so that by that last year, I was kind of just scratching my way to get to And I had the injury. I was supposed to start. I fought my way to the top. I was about to start the next game, ankle injury, missed 10 games. It's a wrap. So,
I mean, I guess it's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, blessing in disguise. Now I'm here, and now I can help in other ways.
Man. And so, how much is your ankle still hurting you now, or is it?
Man, my ankle hurt walking in here. Like it's a daily thing, but like if I go run a mile, I'm gonna be hurting the next day. But like 2 days later, I'll be all right. But it's kind of something I'm used to now. I figured ways. I know what I'm doing when I'm doing too much, or how to you know. Improve it. So
you understand the body. You understand your body, and you understand just bodies in general. So that's what's up.
Yeah,
very cool.
So from your playing days, it could be at Chesapeake, it could be at Virginia Union. What would you say is the most memorable home game and the most memorable away game?
Most memorable home game. I had 47 points.
Let's get it.
I was at Chesapeake. It was a home game. I broke. I want to say 2 records that night. I had 47 points and 11 threes that night. And it's crazy because I didn't know I was doing that. I was just hooping for real. And I think, just tunnel vision. I was just hooping. And I think it was like going to the second half, I probably had like 10 minutes left. And the coach was like, you could break a record. And I'm like, what you talking about? He's like, you got X amount of threes. You need to hit this many more threes. I'm just like, and they're forcing me to shoot the ball because I'm not a selfish player. So I was like passing. Like, no, stop passing. Just shoot it. And I let it fly, and 11 threes, 47 points, and that was the most memorable home game.
But shout out to your coach and your teammates, though.
Right.
For like, you know what I'm saying, doing that, because, I almost broke a record when I was in high school, and my coach didn't know.
Really? Yeah.
2 points away took me out the game, 4 minutes left.
That's terrible.
That's just rude.
Yeah, that's spiteful.
He said he didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's spiteful.
You don't care. You know what I'm saying? I didn't care. Still don't. I don't, because the record would have been if I had probably broke it, it probably got broken like a year or so later. Records are made to be broken, so I ain't worried about it. But that's what I was like. Shout out to your coach and your teammates for like, you know what I'm saying? Because especially, and then you like, no, I don't want to do it, but they like, hey man, get your buckets. And so, what about on the road?
Home game.
In the games on the road.
I think the one that comes to mind the most is a high school game. Playing against Suitland High School. It was something in high school. We hated Suitland. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, it was just because I don't know. We just didn't like Suitland at all. And it was crazy because I met them dudes later on in life. And I'm like, oh, yeah, actually pretty cool. Like,
I think it's like when you go there, you have this kind of spite against them. But I have a couple of friends from Suitland who've gone there.
Like, they cool people. But when I was hooping, we ain't want nothing to do with Suitland. And it was one of them games, like, we was going back and forth, and they crowd was talking trash, people about to fight. It was one of them atmospheres, and we ended up with the win. And I like them games when they crowd is just at you.
It's one of those build-up things. You gotta sit there for 3 or 4 days and hear about it, and people get there early. And
I thought you may have said, how was it playing like Virginia State, Virginia Union?
Those was good. Those was good rivalries too. But I can't say too much about them because I didn't get that much burning. If I have to be honest, so I can't. But the atmosphere is crazy. But like, I could compare that to like, granted it's at a smaller scale, but like Chesapeake versus PG Community College, because in them type of games, because the coach I had used to coach at PG, so it was an automatic rivalry. Right. I gave them numbers. I gave them 26 right after I had 47. I could talk about them, but the V-State, VUU, keep it a buck, I didn't really get that much burn in them, so I couldn't really feel it like that.
But you got a good look at the woo-woo girls, though, right?
Them woo-woo girls. Woo-woo. Hey, listen. They different.
If you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah, the woo-woos is different.
Go call a freak.
They are different.
All I'm saying is go to a V-State football game and you have a lovely time.
Woo-woo girls, another one. Golden Delight at A&T.
Sound like a meal.
Solid. Golden Delight is solid. They solid. Just, y'all can look up if you want to, but just solid.
Have fun.
Y'all cheerleaders, I said y'all. The school cheerleaders got a name here?
Cheerleaders, They're not really. We have a dance team called the Diamonds.
Nice.
I don't know how that really relates to Maryland Eastern Shore.
Well,
but
you got Ambiance too, right?
and that's another dance team.
I don't know. I never understood why they had two different dance teams.
Yeah,
but I mean,
don't
it
know
was
if,
cool.
like,
Like they always got love at like Hawkesteria and stuff like that.
Heck yeah!
But
First one screaming in the fans, always just screaming.
Yeah.
but they're woo woo though. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
That's
them
all I'm
rules
gonna say.
they different.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I think they're good. I have nothing against them. I think they have school pride. I think everybody has.
Oh no,
school
it's
pride a
good. It's
little bit.
good though. I'm just playing.
It's just been so long since we've seen them all like perform. It's kind of like
it kind of sucks, man.
What's it like?
COVID, man. COVID was awful.
Hopefully next year we'll be back at it. Hopefully in
so.
some shape or form.
I think so. I mean, we've all been. I mean,
Right.
me and Akanni are 2 shots in.
Right.
You got
I
the
got a
first one
shot.
today.
Right.
So, we're
So-
on the road back.
Right.
We're
So
on
if
the
we
road
Coming back.
if you're doing yourself a service, you'll watch the podcast and you listen to the podcast, you'll share the podcast, and you'll also tell a friend. Go get your shot because pretty much everybody can get one now.
Mm-hmm.
Go get one. You got 3 to pick from.
Yeah.
For sure.
How about it?
Right. And I got Moderna. You got Moderna.
Yeah.
I got Moderna.
You got
yeah.
Moderna. So we all got Moderna.
Right.
So we can't help you with the Pfizer or the Johnson & Johnson
You
as
on
far
your
as how
own.
you gonna
Pfizer?
feel, but
We'll let you know.
I heard. I mean, my brother got Pfizer. He was fine. I think.
Right. Right. I think they're all good. I think it's what people are their perception of it is what's really kind of affecting
I've
the
heard.
people.
I've heard a lot of different things about
Right.
whether they're gonna get them or not.
Like my sister got Pfizer. Apparently my mom's getting Johnson & Johnson. Just go get one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So we can get back in these streets.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Get back
It's getting
in
hot
these streets.
outside. Them
It's
streets is
man.
calling.
It's, that weather
But
is-
so you raise a
Right.
good point. You played college basketball. You kind of jump into this PT world. You've always wanted to be a PT.
Yeah.
For people that don't know, how did the two kind of connect with each other, and how do you use it in your day-to-day life?
So it's crazy because that's basically, so I got my own business called Salako Fitness. Basically my last name, throw fitness on there. And the whole purpose of it is to merge PT and personal training. Because I think for most people, they think physical therapists are certified stretch therapists. Like all we do is stretch. You come to us, we make you go, in the movies, the gait belt with the parallel bars, we're going to help you walk. Like we do way more than that. We literally know the body inside and out. We know everything that comes with it. So I think how we correlate everything is if you're an athlete, you roll your ankle or whatever type of injury, you come to us, we're going to help you get back to your baseline point, and then we're skilled enough to take you further than where you were in the first place.
Nice.
So that's kind of how it all merges together. And then a lot of us have different backgrounds. Like with me, I'm an athlete and I'm a personal trainer, so I can tie all those worlds together in one.
Interesting.
And so as far as your business with personal training, how do you, when you get a new client or someone comes to you and says, hey, they want to start personal training, how do you start the process of getting them ready, and then where do you go from there?
So I kind of approach it as, what are you doing right now? If you already been exercising, then I can kind of throw you in this program because you'll be able to kind of flow with what you're already doing. But if you are sedentary, you haven't touched the weight in X amount of months, especially with quarantine, that's most of us now with quarantine.
Right.
So I'm not going to tell you go pick up a dumbbell or barbell. Let's get you used to knowing how your body moves in itself. So like going for a walk, doing different squats, not deadlifts, but like squats, core exercises, stuff using just your body. There's so much you can do with just your body and different movements without even picking up a weight. So I kind of start my clients based on that. If you ain't been doing much, let's learn your body first. If you're familiar with weights, okay, let's kind of build off of that.
This is a personal question. So if I'm trying to lose weight, obviously I know the kitchen is the main part.
Yeah.
But when it comes to what is more important overall, because I do work, I already work out and stuff like that. Where do I need to, I guess, hike things up? Do I need to bump the cardio up? Do I need to bump up the actual weightlifting? Like when people say, hey, I want to lose weight, just kind of as a blind statement,
Mm-hmm.
Obviously the food part is one thing, but what would you say? Would you say start like some type of cardio first, or some type of weight training first?
It honestly just depends on your goal. Like, I think that when people say I want to lose weight, that statement is so vague because there's so many layers to it.
Yeah.
If you're trying to lose weight and put on muscle, mixing cardio, but if you're trying to put on muscle, you got to start lifting weights. You got to get in the gym and do as much cardio you're doing. You got to pick up some weights if you're trying to literally put on muscle. If you just want to shed some pounds, then you can do more body weight stuff. It's all about burning calories. Get a lot of movement in. Eat less in your daily meals. But if you're trying to I think when most people think lose weight, they're only thinking of the scale, but they're not necessarily thinking about fat. To burn fat, you got to do something different than if you're trying to just lose overall mass. You feel me? So it's if you give me specifics of what you're trying to do, then that whole regimen kind of changes.
Got you. And when you say losing mass instead of fat, what's the difference?
So
so as far as your body's concerned.
So say you step on the scale, say we both step on the scale, or I'm just use me. So if I step on the scale today, I'm 200 pounds. I drink a bunch of water, I'm going to be 205. That's my total body weight. And then tomorrow, the next day, I step on the scale, I'm 195. The scale only takes account of what your total body weight is, unless you're your total mass. It's not taking into account your percent fat, your percent of fat, your percent muscle and all that stuff. So when if you're actually trying to lose consistent weight, think about that fat percentage. So your BMI, people have 30% or whatever. So think about decreasing your fat percentage. That's the key that you're trying to do when you're losing weight. Because if you drink water, your weight gonna fluctuate. If you eat, your weight gonna fluctuate. So forget the number on the scale and look at what that actual number means.
And I know, there's a lot of scales that will.
Yeah, a lot of
there's
scales.
some scales that tell you that.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think that's because
I guess
that number would
the
play
thing is
tricks on you.
to buy a proper scale. Just
Yeah.
don't go to your
That's a
dollar
great
store
start.
and buy a random scale unless you want to, but buy one that can actually give you some valuable information.
For sure. So, also, outside of, athletics and your business, something big happened to you this year.
Real big.
Yeah.
As far as citizenship. So on January 5th of this year, you became a U.S. citizen, officially, fully, clap it up.
That.
And so tell us about that process and what went into that.
Yeah, so I came here when I was 4. From Nigeria. Came here when I was 4
shout
from
out to the
Nigeria.
motherland.
You feel me? But I've been here my whole life, for real. And if you had a conversation with me, you wouldn't know that I was an immigrant.
Right.
You wouldn't know that I came from another country. So that process, it's a lot of I was young through most of it, so I don't really know all the ins and outs. I just know the effects of everything. It didn't really hit me. I didn't know I wasn't a citizen for real until I want to say when I was 18 trying to go to college. Because that's when they start asking you got to ask that question, are you a U.S. citizen? You either checking one box or the other. And I remember me and my cousin, we were supposed to get a scholarship to go somewhere, but he could get it, but I couldn't because I wasn't a citizen. And they were trying to do a package deal so we could play there because we both hooped on the same team.
Right.
So then at that point, I was then I had to have that conversation with my parents yo, what's going on?
What's
my
the
whole
deal?
life, I didn't know all of this. Yeah. So then kind of fast forward to now with the Obama, I forget what it's called. I forget the name of the act, but that saved my life for real. That act, it allowed me to get a student visa. It allowed me to start. I was.
Oh, it's a DACA.
The DACA, yes.
Act.
I should know that, but yeah.
Action for Childhood Arrival Immigrant Policy was put into effect under the Obama administration.
Yes.
Executive order.
And that changed my life for real. That one, it allowed me to be able to get an ID. I was finally able to get a driver's license. I didn't get a driver's license. It used to be so embarrassing. Now I can talk about it because I'm grown.
Right, it's whatever now.
But I didn't get a driver's license until 2015. So imagine
You was in college.
Yeah, I was in college.
Yeah.
I'm basically a fifth-year senior. I was a senior in college. Didn't know how to drive yet. I remember it was one of my exes that taught me how to drive, and I'm just people driving left and right, and I'm just hey, yo, I need a ride. And it's just, all that stuff was embarrassing back then, but now, so yeah, I was able to get that. Then I was able to, start the whole process of going to driving school. Driving school is terrible.
Really?
It's just, you sitting there for, hours at a time.
Okay, yeah, I get that part.
You never went to driving school?
No, I did, but, I was hyped to go to driver's class.
Because you probably young. You got to think I'm 23 in
Yeah,
driving school.
Oh, you was in there with kids.
Oh, yeah.
You was in there with kids.
Okay.
Bro, I fell asleep in driving school.
Man.
It was on a Saturday morning.
Like, oh, you need to be here by 9 a.m.
Mine was 8 o'clock, and we played a football game that Friday night.
Ooh.
I was exhausted. It was 8 to 5 on a Saturday
Yeah.
in high school. That is no good. I don't care what you say. But yeah, driving school was bad. But go ahead. So you seen the driving school.
Terrible. So yeah, driving school, I had to do that whole process. I remember my first time actually driving with the instructor. He picked me up. I had regular clothes on. By the time I got back, you'd have thought we went to the pool. Like I was drenched in sweat, that nervous in the car. I didn't know how to drive, nothing. But yeah, so I was able to get that. And then after the whole Obama stuff, then Trump get in and it get a little hazy when Trump get in.
It's called what it is.
I didn't know what was going to happen.
Don't say.
Yeah, got a little hazy.
I wonder what happened.
So I didn't know what was going to happen, but we kept with the process. And you got to wait. You got to have your. So I got my green card back in 2000. I want to say 16. So you got to wait 5 years.
All right.
And this year was the year I became eligible to get the. If the years add up, whatever, -5 from where we at now.
Right.
So I had to wait the 5 years, and then I was able to apply. So I was able to apply. I applied, went through the whole process, had to study for the test. That test, man, they give you a booklet. It's 100 questions in the booklet. They asking you 10 of the questions out of the 100. And you just gotta, it's random stuff about like America, the Constitution. It's stuff that.
Oh, I know you know more about American than I do.
That most people don't probably know.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll talk about that next part later.
Yeah,
keep going.
But yeah, so after I did that, took the test, I was trying to study. I was like, yeah, I'm going to study for weeks. Honestly, I probably studied like 2 days prior. I was just like, listen, I'm about to just cram this because I don't feel like looking at this. So crammed it, did what I had to do. That went well. They swore me in, and now it's going up.
It's going up. We out
Yeah.
here.
U.S. So are you dual citizen or just strictly?
No, I'm just strictly U.S. citizen.
Strictly U.S.
Very cool.
What's up? So, but how was it? So, how was it growing up in a Nigerian home? I mean, we know what stereotypes say.
Yeah.
We know what everybody wants you to think. You know what I mean? But how was it really growing up in a Nigerian home?
First-hand account,
Nigerian home.
I think it's different. So my father, he was more strict. And then, after, parents split up, all that stuff. So I went with my mother. And me and my mom, she kind of had at first she was like that. But, it's different raising a Nigerian kid and a Nigerian Americanized kid. Because I'm like conforming to everything because this is all I see. I can only be but so Nigerian because I grew up here. You feel me? So she had to kind of change her traditions, change her views, and kind of warp to mesh the person I was becoming. And once she did that, we clicked. Like, of course, I got in trouble as every kid got in trouble, and when I get home, it's on. But like everybody else, but but the expectations are still there. Like, I think I don't know if this is the same expectations of like a Black American, but like getting B's, nah, my mom ain't happy with that. Like, so you couldn't get an A, you didn't try hard. I'm like, nah, like I did my best. Like I came home with a C. She's like, what is that? I'm like, I did everything I could, and so like expectations like that. They want you to be you got to be a doctor, all of that. This is my choice, but she's happy that I chose this. Like, it took her for the longest to get used to me hooping. Because she didn't really, that's not their thing.
So when she would come to games, was she just kind of like...
She'd be there front and center, hype, but she's just like, what are we doing long term? And then once she...
okay, that's good.
Once she realized, like, I remember it was after a high school game. I think it was 11th grade. We lost, and I was in the car crying, and she cried with me. And I was like, okay, she really get it. Like, she really in it. And then from that point on, it's just like... She's like, whatever you want to do, let's get it popping. If you're going to do this, support with the business, she in the business. I got boot camp. She in there, about to die, but she in there trying.
Hey, I love that. Hey, health is wealth, man.
Yeah,
health
so she with it.
This is health is wealth is big on this podcast. Very big on this podcast. That's what's up, man.
Very cool.
Because I always wanted to ask because one of my mom's really good friends was a Nigerian man that they were together and like he's probably... Him and his family, I think outside of like my blood family, that's one of the few places I can remember like, yo, we going to drop you off over there. Like,
Right,
we go
see you
do
later.
stuff. And, like, it was, and, I mean, obviously, it was, like, they were, like, straight Nigerian. And then they were, like, him and his wife had came from Nigeria. And then, so their kids, like what you were saying, was, like, Americanized. Like, we was going to school with them and stuff like that. And just to see the difference of, like, what they kind of expected versus what, like, reality of, like, being in America was. It was kind of different. But I always, like, you know, I always, like, go back to, you know, my like, you know, say, like, yo, this your babysitter was, like, a Nigerian family. So I always got love for Nigerians and, like, Nigeria, you know, not because just, like, it's Africa, but, like, I actually have, like, firsthand account of, like, you know, like, them taking care of me, like, hey, come pick you up from, like, daycare and stuff like that, you know what I mean? I'm not going to, you know, I know what it sounds like, but, I mean, like, I can't do the voice like you do. But I can hit, like, it's funny because I can, like, when they start talking fast, I could understand it just from, like, you know, just being over there. So that's what's up. You know what I mean? And always, you know, Nigeria, man, the motherland. I gotta go. I heard it's a lot of money to get back over there. Though.
And we cool now. Back then we was African booty scratchers. Ain't nobody, ain't nobody want to do nothing. They was talking about dashikis, all that.
Yeah, but see, I think I mean I don't know if my parents did that on purpose, like saying like, oh yeah, you go over there because like that's not. I never was like, oh, you African. Like I never thought about it that way. I thought about it was like, oh, it was just like
cool,
they from Africa, like. I just thought that I never really thought I didn't have any bad feelings towards them, but I think like thinking back on it, that's like outside of like my actual blood family, that's like one of the few families that like, yo, we'll take you over there and let you like stay over there, like as like you know young single digit age. So I mean so that's what's up.
Dope.
That's what's up. And so now we talked about the quarantine. We talked about the working out in the quarantine. You do like Zoom workouts and things with people now?
Man, I did it for so I feel like in any type of business, it's a lot of times you throwing stuff at the wall. Something gonna stick and you keep going. Some don't. I tried the Zoom workouts, threw it at the wall. I had a couple people pull up, but then I was like, bro, I hate doing these. Like it's not the same for real. It's me talking to a screen. Can't hear if they hear me. I was like, man, nah. So I stopped the Zoom workouts. So now I got online programs that I've like already made for like different goals. So if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to burn fat specifically, I got a program for that. If you're a male or female trying to put on weight, I got programs for that. So, and I got like one-on-one, which is more personalized. So we have a conversation and I create a program based on your specific needs. You feel me? So I got different programs on my website that people can go to, and that way they still getting me while I'm in school.
Right.
And all that, and it kind of plays into the virtual. I got stuff for the home, stuff for the gym. So you get the program, you do your own thing. I guide you through it. So I'd rather do that.
Get him now before he becomes doctor, because then the price is just going to go up.
The price is
going to go up.
Hey,
so,
price of the brick going up.
They
For
got
all my
to.
Wire fans, that's what Marlo said. Price of the brick going up.
They got to.
You know what I'm saying? But that's what's up, though. I mean, the fact that you have all that available website, you know, if you need to get right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, it's a must.
So, you know, we talked about, so what kind of entertainment did you have during the quarantine?
What did I have? Netflix.
Any-
Can't go wrong with Netflix. What else was I doing?
What you watching on Netflix?
Yeah.
We always have to ask everybody what they're watching.
What the Devil? I think the show Lucifer.
Lucifer.
That show
I
like
watched that
that.
show.
Yeah, that show like that. I watched all the seasons. I think that got me through a good, I want to say, month of quarantine.
Right.
I watched that. And then what else did I do? I was kind of revamping my business a lot. I changed my website, so that took a lot of time. I went from GoDaddy to Wix, and I did that on my own, so that took a good month of quarantine away. But a lot of podcasts, church, you know, the online church scene is just, that's the thing now. So,
bro,
you know.
Let me tell you about online church. It's interesting. I don't love it. I don't hate it.
Yeah.
I think it gives people an excuse not to go back to an in-person physical church. I don't know. That's just my personal opinion.
I get it.
Let me tell you, I'm here for the online church.
I
I didn't think I would like it, but Yo.
You get in and get out. I think here's the thing. I think it depends on where you go. Some churches are really good. Like they have people like us who are in kind of the media background and know how to operate stuff and like the videos and whatnot. So it's a good, it looks like a real service. Like you're not really missing anything. Some churches, they struggle. And you can tell, like, they're trying to piece the choir together and get, like, 15 different recordings and smash them together. I'm like, I don't know. And I'm like, I get what you're trying to do, but, like, I don't know. Plus, like, I'm in so I grade it, like, super hard.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
Man, let me tell you something.
But I like the effort.
I am here for Zoom church. Like, and it's not, when I like, when they say, oh, I grew up in the church.
Oh, yeah.
Like, heavy. Like, my mom had me at church a lot.
Every Sunday.
Saturdays. Like, Tuesday. Like, bro, I was at church. You feel me? So I put a lot of time in the church. Not saying that that's but like, I went to church a lot.
Right.
I've seen a lot of church. Been to a lot of church. And so for me growing up, I also, being in church a lot, you start to realize a lot of people that's in church saying one thing in church and they a whole nother person Monday through Saturday.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
And so because of seeing that a lot, I'm not saying because church, like I said, church. I've always heard church is a building,
right?
Yeah.
But they also say where two or more people are gathered, the Holy Spirit can get in there, not to preach. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you know what I'm saying? Like you can, you don't have to go to church to get that feeling.
Right.
And so as I got older, I really started to realize when I got to college, it was like
it's about the people.
It's about the people that's in the church. But then also, I really think what you have, which whatever your higher power is
right.
within you, and I think everybody, whoever whatever religion you are, you can have a personal relationship with him, and you don't have to go to church to get that personal relationship. Now, I personally, obviously, I went to church, like I still go to church, but I don't I'm cool with the Zoom or just watching it online. Like I'm cool with that. Yeah. It makes it more versatile. I don't have to listen to the same preacher all the time, and also I don't have to get dressed.
Right.
I can wear, you know what I'm saying? It makes come as you are to a whole nother level. Because I went, dog. I'm AME church down south, like
Sunday best.
Sunday best every Sunday.
I remember, man. Listen, I remember my dad probably, if he watching this, he don't remember. I remember I was like 11 or 12. My dad was like, "Yeah, you kind of got to start. You kind of got to start putting stuff on for you know what I'm saying. Just the little small stuff not gonna work anymore. You got to put something on."
Uh-huh.
So I was, that's when you kind of get into the I was kind of wearing a tie more often.
Right.
And then, that kind of fades away. But at that time, he's like, hey, but it was kind of more of a, just kind of being able to all right, on Sunday, putting you some clothes on to go. But I'm here for the Zoom church and online church. You said you with it too? Okay.
Yeah, I'm with the Zoom because for me, I think my faith got better with the Zooms. Like once I think quarantine for me, I say this all the time, and of course I understand there was death and everything that happened with quarantine, but I think quarantine for me, faith wise, and just finding me, I think quarantine was the best thing for me personally. And it with the Zoom with the Zoom churches and all that, because I went to Virginia Union, so I'm going to Virginia. Then I go back home to PG. Then I go to Chesapeake. I'm all over the place, so I can never find a home church long enough for real because I'm all over the place. Mm-hmm. So then once you introduce the virtual churches, like the Transformation Church, the Elevation Church, like those, you don't necessarily, because I've sat in church and felt nothing. And I could sit at home watching these people and I feel like I'm gaining something out of it. So I think I agree with the whole production that plays a role in it, but I think once you start building a relationship outside of that Sunday worship or whatever you want to call it, once you start building a relationship, whatever your higher power outside of that, once you get supplemented with whatever's happening on Sunday, whether it's on TV or it's in person, all that kind of just starts to flow a little better. I'm with it. I like it.
Yeah, I really think it's whatever floats your boat. I can see. I see why, like, a lot of people want to get back in church, in the actual building. Some people don't. I think it's just kind of your own prerogative, really. But me personally, I'm cool with the Zoom. I really am. And then also too, I think the other piece was now that we have Zoom, like I couldn't, like the only time, especially after I got out of, like, when you go to college, I didn't see people from my home church a lot. Even though a lot of people, I mean, it's a small church down south, so a lot of the church was like cousins and aunts, uncles, and stuff like that. But still, I mostly only saw them on Sundays because I didn't go to church in the city I grew up in. And then when I go to college, obviously I'm not seeing those people if I come back to, kind of come back. And then once I moved and lived in Indiana and lived in Maryland, I really wasn't seeing them. So now when I get on, I actually can see, oh, snap. Like these people.
You can see them in the comments. You can see them on screen.
You see people like on the Zoom call and it's like, okay, cool. You still feel like you have that connection with your, your church family back at home. Versus like they wouldn't like, without Zoom church, they really some of the people, especially people I went to church with, it would have been years since they've like seen or heard my voice. Yeah. So I'll say that. But so like quarantine entertainment. But let's talk about the start of the quarantine, which is in March of last year. Right. Now, it stopped, the NCAA tournament. It stopped the men's side and the women's side, but it also stopped the championship me and Akanni was about to get.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Because we finally was coming together.
Yeah, now, I was getting my rhythm.
Bro, you remember that first game we played? So listen, the first game we played, I'm like, Akanni, you good? He's like, yeah, I'm good. Bro, what, 5 minutes? I was looking at him, he looking at me like, bro, I'm exhausted. Yeah, man. Like going up and down that court was crazy, but we starting to get our rhythm back. We didn't even have a whole team, but people was coming to the game like, yo, y'all team. Right.
Y'all and this is like intramural basketball for anybody who doesn't know. Like UMES, I give it to them. They run a really good intramural sports program.
Right, but the thing was, the reason, well, number one, we was a fan favorite because everybody else was undergrads. We was the old guys. We not that old, but we older than...
Got some seniority going on.
We got seniority going. And so we knew how to play. We had that mean zone we was running. So we was like, man, we about to win this thing. Yeah. And stopped us. So I think since that time, last March, which is 13 months ago, I think I may have played basketball 4 or 5 times total. Have you played basketball at all?
I haven't touched a basketball since that day. Okay, bro. Yeah, it's rough. Wow. I haven't touched it. And it's crazy because I used to play I think for, let's say like 20 years of my life, I touched the basketball every single day. Haven't touched I could go years without touching basketball. And it sucks now, but where am I going to hoop at? It ain't really nowhere around here for real.
I remember when I think it was... Okay, so it was March. I may have went Ty came down. I went and just shot. I didn't run up and down. Just kind of did a shoot around with somebody. I think it maybe July or August, and that had been 4 or 5 months. I think that's the longest period of time I had ever went without physically touching the basketball in my life. Yeah. Probably since I actually knew what I was doing, because I was playing. You know what I mean? Because we used to play in college and stuff like that, and that's basically that was the equivalent. I never went a whole semester of college and didn't play one game of basketball. Right. And so it was just man. And I was like, but they took our chip from us. But it did get my golf game started. I did start playing golf.
Love that.
I started playing. Have you ever played golf at college?
I'm terrible at golf. I did the what's that new Top Golf.
Yeah. Top golf,
that's
love
about
top
it. I'm terrible at golf. My swing is piss poor.
Really? For a person that works on the body, I would assume
golf is technical.
They know how to body. Interesting.
Nah, but golf is technical.
This is the thing about golf. Golf can be very discouraging if you watch other people do it, because what happens is you can't just use a lot of just physical ability, that just natural athleticism. Exactly. I always say, if you can't shoot but you can jump, okay, we can use you as a rebounder. Football, you fast, we can use most sports across the board. If you have some type of natural athleticism, we can find a spot. Running a 4.2 means nothing
in golf.
A 50-inch vertical means nothing.
That is fact.
In golf.
Yeah.
And so I remember it was 2 years ago I was at a golf tournament, and this little girl from Texas Southern, I will never forget. if she was 5'1", that's the taller she was.
Right.
She was tiny.
Yeah.
And she hit that ball. I was like, because I kind of gasped. Like, because I was like, they looked at me like, oh, yeah, man, swinging, couldn't hit it. Like, I'm just like, we losing balls left and right. I'm like, and then it's kind of, because then now, but what happens if you play, especially if you play with somebody that really plays, it's kind of like, man, I was like, then you start, man, this little girl just hitting the mess out of the ball, and I can't hit it 5 feet. It will humble you. It will humble you.
Golf is very humbling. Took this girl to Top Golf. She did better than me. I'm like, yo, this ain't my sport. Like, I'm big. You see me, I'm big as a bug. I'm like, yeah, I'm about to walk up here and set this joint way. I'm about to get all the points. I miss. I'm like, yeah, golf it ain't for me.
I get that.
I get that. And then too, Top Golf is a lot. Like we talked about before, it's a lot of distractions at Top Golf. So
yeah,
you won't really you can't really lock in like, hey, this is what I'm doing. So, but I mean, hey,
you're being physically active. I appreciate that.
Listen.
Yeah.
That when you go to Top Golf, like, what's your goal when you go to Top Golf? Are you looking for how far can I drive it or what?
Nah, cause I play golf on a regular basis. It's basically what I'm working on with my swing and trying to get myself out of a competitive mindset into a more relaxed golf mindset. So like if I hit a bad shot, yeah, it's okay. I'm gonna sit down and have a drink or have some food. It's whatever. You know, of course I'm competitive. I like to win, but like you just want to enjoy yourself and the people you're around and not take it so seriously. Now I take it seriously before I even walk in there. I bring my own golf bag in there and take it way too seriously because I don't swing with nobody else's clubs. I'm gonna swing with the clubs that got fit for me, and they're my clubs. Don't touch them. I wish I could just like go up there and just swing, be like, yes, whatever. But
so yeah, so you practice you practicing slash
right.
Just listen.
I don't know.
Top Golf is the thing now.
I love Top Golf. I can't get enough of Top Golf.
Yeah,
that's what's
I
up.
go for the vibe. Just the vibe.
It is a vibe when you go there. It is a vibe when you go.
You get a couple friends in there, and you get a couple like drinks and whatnot, and just great food and good music, and the TV's on. Just watching whatever you want to watch. Yeah. I feel that
for sure. And so, off of what we was talking about. So you said like the quarantine basically make you grow a lot as a person and all those things. When we get to the other side of what quarantine is, what do you think, once we get out of this in the next few years, what do you see your life and your business or whatever, what do you see yourself going?
Business-wise, especially since I'm about to graduate, I feel like I see the light at the end of the 3-year tunnel.
Right. When do you graduate?
September. We got the exact date. I think it's September 15th or 16th.
Oh yeah, you're a Founder's Day graduation person.
So
nice.
Yeah, graduation is the light at the end of the tunnel. I don't know what the world gonna look like as far as like Corona, but at that point, I can actually hit the ground running with my business because now I got the credentials to do it. And I don't know if I want to work for somebody. I may try it out, learn a little more in the field, and then kind of venture out and do my own thing. But I think the light at the end of the tunnel, I'm going to hit the ground running as far as business. And I just want to do more for people. I feel like now that because I can only do but so much in school because I don't have the time. But once I'm done, I can dedicate my time to it. And I want to create an app. I've already wrote a book, but I need to finish it once I graduate. So I can provide more resources to people once I'm done. So I think it's
going to be a full-blown thing.
Yeah.
Enterprise.
Yeah.
Literally.
Salako Enterprises.
Yeah.
Salako Fitness, Salako Enterprises. The whole, and so, I mean, I guess I should have probably asked you this earlier. What really gave you the idea, or hey, I want to start my own business within like personal training?
I was working. I knew I wanted to own something when I was younger. I think what got me in the field in the first place was the movie Just Right with Queen Latifah and Common. When she helped my man get back to hooping, I was like, that's what I want to do. I kind of like this.
Shout out to Queen Latifah and Common.
Yeah, shout out to them. So then after I graduated Virginia Union, I needed something I needed a job. I was a graduate, had a biology degree, hated biology, but it got me across the stage.
No one likes
I
biology.
don't get that. How people just major and stuff and they don't like it.
I had to get they was giving me a scholarship. I had to pick something. I knew I wanted to do physical therapy eventually, so I was like, biology.
Yeah,
that
okay.
makes sense. But
Yeah, so I did that.
You picked the worst of the sciences too.
It was that of chemistry. And
I did chemistry before I did biology. Biology was bad.
nah, both of them was bad to me. But shout out to Virginia Union. But yeah, so I worked under somebody, John Wingfield. He taught me a lot. He owns play training facility in Capitol Heights. And I was under him. I remember he was giving me $10 an hour just to do like little stuff around and just shadow him, work with his athletes. So as soon as I was graduated, I was able to like start working with athletes, start getting in the field. And I was like, I kind of like this. And then he was just like, get your certification. I got my certification. He threw me a couple clients to do on my own, and it kind of blossomed from there. I had one lady. I only had one client for a year. She was loyal though. It was one client for a whole year. And then after I got my feet wet, I was like, I had the first surgery, and I had to sit down for like 3-4 months. And at that time, I was okay, let me actually create a business plan, a business model. I did all of that. And then once I got back on my feet, I launched the Instagram, and it kind of just started trickling in there. And that's when the clients started coming in, Instagram going, Instagram starting to get better, and hit the ground running since then.
Sweet.
And you put food, you got food and everything on the Instagram too to help people with eating. And
Yeah,
stuff
I'm a fake chef. And if I never hooped, I'd have been a chef. Cause I love cooking, love eating. I just ain't the greatest skill. Cause right now I'm winging it, but I love to cook. Who don't love to eat?
Right.
That is true. That is true.
Big facts.
It's the plate placement though.
Yeah,
like
you
I
just
said,
gotta make it look pretty.
No. I'm eating for survival and nourishment. I'm not eating for, this looks so nice. But give me that food, man. Just give me that steak.
Says the guy who had Cheesecake Factory for lunch, which is a little bowl of pasta for lunch.
Bro, that was a small little portion.
Yeah,
that was
okay.
a small portion.
Whatever.
That was a good portion. Portion size, right?
Portion control.
Portion control.
Yeah. How do y'all feel about them places that you pay like $500 plus and you really only getting like a dot of food? They got a tasting menu and getting a bunch of little food.
I gotta be in the right mindset for it.
Ain't no mindset.
Gotta have some special occasion of why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
See, the thing, now I will say this, like, no, I don't want to answer your question. No, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But I used to always think that sometimes you could get the same food. Like, I think some of those restaurants, it's not always the food. I think it's the atmosphere, the experience that you're really paying for, because it's hard to convince me. Now, I've been to Roof Chris before. I've had a Roof Chris steak. It's better than, like, Applebee's or something like that. But steak, let's just say a steak at Roof Chris is $500, and that's a good steak. It's hard for you to tell me going somewhere else and a steak is like $400 or something like that. But I think, when you go to that place for that $400 steak, it's probably some things there that's a little bit better than Roof Chris. Not saying Roof Chris is bad, or not talking about, because Roof Chris is a very nice place. Somebody take you to Roof Chris, they treat you nice.
They care about you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They really care about you. So, or they just got that steamy. Or they just got the steamy.
Different,
But I'm like, it's hard for me. But you go to that, you go to that $400 or $500 place, and it just may be, the ambiance. They may have fish in your table or something like that, or whatever. They may have fish tanks, or everybody get their own personal whatever. I just think it's probably you just paying for the experience more than the tasting. I mean, I'm sure the food is good, but would you go on?
No, I agree. I wouldn't do one, but I agree. I think, because I seen something earlier talking about branding, and I think that's with them big companies that could charge those $500. It's all branding, because you just said all that about their steak, and you have no clue what they doing back there. They really could pull it out of a bag.
Here's the price. What you're gonna pay for it.
It is just the branding. You respect the brand off of. They built it. Roof Chris we are those people that do X, Y, and Z. I think the branding plays a role in all of that stuff. But I was just
Yeah, that's all it is. You know what I mean? Because especially steakhouses. If you've been to one nice one, it's only so much.
Yeah, there's only so much you can
do.
But Yeah, I just think it's just more the branding and whatever they have in there, what kind of ambiance they set up, what kind of music they have, but,
Yeah, I haven't been out to dinner in so long.
do y'all pay attention, like, restaurants, do y'all pay attention to the, music that's playing?
Oh, yeah.
You do?
Me, I do.
Do you?
It depends if we going there to have fun, you gotta play the 99 to the 2000.
Oh,
you
gotta,
gotta,
come on,
you gotta
man.
play
Some
all
good,
that. But
some
if it's
good, good in
yeah,
there.
if it's just the vibe, if we just like grabbing something to eat, something chill, then
Right.
I don't really pay attention to it too much.
But if it's a fine dining type of place, like if it's a bar, a fine dining place, yeah, I'm listening to the vibe of the music because it sets the tone.
I think I only pay attention to the music when it's a song like I'm like, what? Whoa, that's bad.
Yeah,
like,
when it catch you off guard. Yeah.
There's that too.
or if it catches me off guard in a good way.
Yeah.
Because I was in a place and they went from Taylor Swift to I don't even know who sang Throat Baby. I'm like, I don't even know. I don't even know how that happened.
Yeah.
It just caught me by surprise. I mean, it made me enjoy the song a little more. I don't, I like the song, know the song, but I don't really listen to that song on my personal time. But because it came right after Taylor Swift, I was like, this place got some little bit of, or maybe they saw us over there and was trying to pander.
Yeah,
Never know. So
that's
Hate
true.
that you gotta question it, but you
for
got
sure.
to.
Well, thank you for coming through, Akanni. Before we go, I know we've talked about your businesses and stuff, but where can the good people follow you on social? Whatever the case may be, shout it out.
Right. Where can the good people find you?
Well, I'm on everything. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It's the same name, Salako Fitness, Salako Fitness. And then I got a website, salakofitness.com, so it all makes it a little easy. salakofitness.com. And just, I'm around. If you see me around, approach me, send me a DM, contact me.
Right.
I'm very friendly. Don't mind having a conversation with the people.
Right.
You still do like the free consultation?
Yep, and I still do free consultations. Free 15-minute consultation about fitness, nutrition. Or if you just need somebody to talk to hear out your problems.
Yo, summer's coming, folks.
Yeah,
Get yourself
you
in
got
shape.
15 minutes of my time. Use it wisely. So just holler at me, and
There
we
you go.
get you right.
As always, we'll throw all the information in the description and the links below so you can easily find his platforms.
Absolutely. So thank you for coming through, Akanni.
Appreciate y'all for having me. I had a great time.
Oh, no problem. So as we're getting ready to close out, as always, look on EasternShoreHawks.com, Eastern Shore Hawks on Facebook, where you'll find the Honing Your Craft podcast.
Yeah, episode 4 is out now.
All right, absolutely. Also, EasternShoreHawks.com you can also get the podcast there. Social media.
Yeah.
As always, follow me on Ray_Law12 on Twitter, R_Wardlaw on Instagram, Law to Land on Snapchat, no TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, Raylan Wardlaw.
Yeah.
And shout out to this good weather we are having.
Yes.
I didn't mention it earlier, but the weather is been doing
Really,
all right.
really good.
That had nothing to do with my socials, but I just thought about that and just
I
thought
don't blame
about
it.
the
It's
feel of that
nice
weather.
outside. It's like 70-something degrees outside.
telling you,
I don't know
this-
why I have a big old sweatshirt. It's probably cold in the studio. That's why I have
because
likely.
Maryland is gonna be cold later.
But that's
It'll
true.
be-
But yeah, you
it'll
can
be
follow
30
me on
degrees
Twitter.
in the night.
I'm at Langston Frazier. You can follow me on LinkedIn. I'm at Langston Frazier. You can follow my other podcast, The Langston Frazier Show, wherever you get your favorite podcast. That's where you can find me at. As far as our athletic social media handles, you can follow the Hawks on Twitter at ESHawks Sports, Instagram, ESHawks, Facebook. You can find us at Eastern Shore Hawks. And as always, you can visit us on our website, easternshorehawks.com, for all of the latest information on our Hawks.
And for the show, join in on the conversation using the hashtag TalkShore. If you want to email us, do that at mdtalkshore@gmail.com. If you have any questions, you want to reach out, any guests you want to see, any topics you want us to tackle, we will do it.
Right. We read the emails.
We do
Just use
read-
the hashtag TalkShore.
Absolutely.
That's how we find it.
As always, don't forget to subscribe. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play. And for the visual people, we're on YouTube.
YouTube, Talk of the Shore podcast on YouTube. That's where you can find us. Leave a comment, leave a review. share it with a friend. Super important.
Absolutely. We
Trying to
are
inspire you.
It's a podcast like world we're living in. Everybody's podcasting it up. So if you can listen to 2 hours of Bruce Springsteen and Barack Obama's podcast,
Right, you can listen to us.
Listen to us too. I mean, we may not be as interesting as Bruce Springsteen and Barack Obama
and the president, but like
we all right.
We try.
You know what I
We
mean?
can try.
And how many people out there? Can you name a Bruce Springsteen song?
Not off the top of my head.
Akanni, can you name a Bruce? I cannot either.
Not off the top of my head. Like not in this very moment. I guarantee, as soon as this camera
But
goes off, I'll be able to give you a song.
But that's how famous he is, though.
Right, and he can just
we know. I know the name. I know Bruce Springsteen, but I don't know any of his songs. Same thing with the Beatles.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you don't know any of the Beatles songs?
No.
Yellow Submarine. That's a good one. That's classic.
Nah. Oh, I almost forgot. That versus last Sunday.
Let me tell you, Earth, Wind, and Fire. I kid you not. I was in my room. I was dancing in my room. I had a
Isley
ball.
Brothers. Let me tell you.
That was great.
So I was
Steve
sitting-
Harvey killed me.
I was sitting at home. I was watching. I was kind of chilling out, not doing anything. By the time we was halfway through, opened up some wine, sipping. I'm like, this is, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to my parents, my godmothers, aunts, uncles, because when I was a kid, I was like, turn this off.
Turn it off.
Turn this off.
Now you feel older. You feel enlightened.
Man, listen, I'm not even joking. When that For the Love of You dropped, I threw stuff around the room. I was like, come on, man.
It was good.
Speak to me. That was crazy. I mean, listen, and I'm cool. Like the rap one, I mean, listen, I enjoyed all the verses so far that I've watched. Man, Gucci Mane and Jeezy had me standing on the couch.
Lil Wayne was good too, man.
All the, 2 Chainz, Rick Ross had me wanting some chinchilla. You know what I'm saying? Shot Patty and Gladys was like, man, it's like my aunt, my mom and my aunt talking.
Yep.
But that Earth, Wind, and Fire and Isley Brothers, I don't have the numbers, but I heard something about, I think, so just the one song Between the Sheets by the Isley Brothers has been sampled 140 times.
That's insane.
And I think the Isley Brothers in total have been sampled like 900 times or something like that. And then I think Earth, Wind, and Fire is like 650, 700 times. So between those two groups, there's like a whole nother 1,500 songs that were made because of them. And that's just of the ones that's on the books, not
the lesser known ones.
Yeah, like, well, I mean, and then probably too early on, people probably didn't have to pay for samples the same way. So listen, I'm telling you, that verses, I meant to, man.
Whoever came up with the idea to put those two together, they went overtime, and the Instagram shut the live down, and it had to go back up and start it over again.
People was mad about it being long. I didn't care. They could have kept going. I didn't even realize how late it had gotten.
It was like midnight. It was like 12:30, and they were like still going. I was what?
I was here for it.
It was great.
I'm sitting there. I went in the Stone drop.
Yeah.
I started marching like I was in the band. You know what I mean? But that, man, listen.
Man.
I'm telling you. So that
if you didn't go see it,
it's on YouTube now.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. The whole playlist is on there. All the songs that they did.
Man, that verses between Earth, Wind, and Fire. And it was I really appreciate the versatility of verses, how they've done it, because at first it was kind of just a rap thing.
Yeah.
And now it's really
they got it a little bit
old school, because I think the next one is like Redman and Method Man, and like.
See, I heard about it on Twitter. I didn't even know what was happening, and so I got on Twitter, and my Twitter started going off like Earth, Wind, and Fire, Earth, Wind, and Fire. I was like, oh, this versus thing is still a thing. Yeah, Twitter. I hopped on like 8:30.
I was waiting all week. I planned my Sunday to have time to watch versus.
So glad I saw it.
I waited an extra hour to eat, because I wanted to like start eating when the verses started. I'm telling you, man, that verses was like that. So shout out, man. Listen, shout out to Earth, Wind, and Fire. Shout out to the Isley Brothers and
Steve Harvey in his blue suit, hilarious.
So you was cool with the whole stuff?
Oh yeah, I was cool. It was cool.
I think I didn't care.
I didn't care. I mean, like he wasn't a distraction, but it was kind of cool.
What did y'all expect him to do when he was host?
Be
Just
Steve
say
Harvey.
next song. The best part about having a host is they have to, it's gonna be dead time, but you post if in that moment he's supposed to give like
Some comic relief.
some comic relief, and then also talk about what the songs mean to him, and then
Which he
also
did.
it started making me think just real quick. You know how he was like, "Oh, I grew up with these two people."
Right.
I really can't think of like two artists that I could like put together for a verses that would actually be like, "Oh, I grew up with these people." Like the two people I can say I've literally listened to my entire from the earliest time I can remember listening to music to now, still listening to them. It's probably like Jay-Z and Usher.
Yeah.
As far as,
Ooh, that would be a good one.
but
they-
it
two
doesn't
different
mix.
genres.
Like it
Yeah.
don't, the genres don't mix. It wouldn't work. And so I'm talking about Jay-Z and Usher from the standpoint of like having stories. Like I can remember my godmother like when she bought me and my brother Blueprint 2. Like I can remember getting 8701. I remember, you know what I'm saying, singing Let It Burn, Confessions, and stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean, as a kid. So like the two of them, I'll be like, yo, it's Jay-Z and Usher, but that versus that would never work.
Hey, never say never.
I mean, I'm not saying it
Right.
would, like, but as far as like the vibes of it, and then if you did like a Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, I mean, both of them came out when I was in high school.
Right.
So, well, I mean, the first time I heard them was like high school. So, I don't have a 8-year-old story. So the only like two people I could think of like would be like Jay-Z, Usher, and maybe like Snoop Dogg. But other than that, I can't think of anybody else in my lifetime that's been making good music basically my entire life and never stopped.
Right.
Can you think of anybody?
For me, that would never happen because I'm a jazz person. Chris Bodie, and kind of a rock person, Sting.
Yeah, they've been making.
I would listen
sure.
to them all day long.
For sure. Yeah, jazz.
They wouldn't mesh. They wouldn't
Yeah,
mesh
see,
together.
and that's I think it
but
was.
they
like,
worked together
There's so
before.
many people. I'm like, oh, I've heard these people since I was a kid, and they still making music now. But I couldn't think of like, of actual verses. So, but man, that Earth, Wind and Fire,
Something else.
Isley Brothers, shout out to them. That was that was top. That was top notch, top tier, and
Great entertainment.
man. It was. So shout out to all my elders on that one.
Right.
That's a shout out to them, and man, because we all been in that back seat, and like, man, turn this off. We all woke up on a Saturday morning.
Yep. I appreciated it on Sunday. Sure did.
I'm telling you, I did. I can remember, man. It's ringing like I can hear it right now. Waking up here in September and knowing you got to clean that bathtub today.
Saturday. Get on up.
You hear that? Do you hear that September? It's time to
go.
It's time to clean. But
yeah.
so
Shout out to our in-studio crew for being here. We appreciate y'all.
Absolutely.
Shout out to our control room staff in there. I know they were thinking we were going to end the show like 5 minutes ago, and they're like, what the heck is going on?
but the verses was on my heart.
Yeah,
You know
I
what
feel
I'm
that.
saying? You got to.
But yeah, as always, we've been tested for COVID. We're all negative, and as of right now, I've had a shot. He has had 2, and most of our guests have had theirs too. So that is that. Joe, throw me a camera fork. Can we get like Skycam today? Is that possible? There we go. We back to our Skycam. Hey, let's get out of here, man.
As always, I'm Ralan Wardlaw.
I'm Langston and Frazier. We will see you next week, folks, on Talking to Short.
Thanks
See ya.
for listening, watching.